Gap years tend to turn into forever, so don't do that. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen to me. So I never went to college. It should have been me! It should have been me! Not her! Balls in the chat, balls in the chat. Hey, balls in the chat, balls in the chat. Let's Oshi YouTube! I am Stellatrix coming at you live from a starship near you. Today we will be perceiving. I found out I have ADHD by Jaiden Animations. I was asked many times to react to this. I'm not sure why. It's definitely not because I have ADHD or anything. Strap in, strap on, and let's go perceive.
Do you ever think to yourself, man, why is it so hard for me to just do the things I need to do?
All the time.
And focus, and
Constantly.
remember things, and manage my
Literally all the
time, and be organized, and remember things, and not get sidetracked.
Yes, all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, never.
When I was a kid, I was pretty much the picture-perfect depiction of a good student. I was well-organized, always turned in my work on time, got good grades. I even did my homework on Fridays instead of procrastinating until Sunday night. Sure, I didn't like study.
Okay, like, I related to that until that part. That part, I definitely procrastinated, but like, my caretakers wouldn't let me procrastinate homework. I was not permitted to procrastinate.
And found it hard to focus during it, but who didn't? Saying all those qualities put together, that doesn't sound like the brain of someone with any kind of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, does it? I was well behaved, didn't feel like I struggled much in school, and didn't cause any trouble.
Same.
That is, up until I moved out of my parents' house for the first time to go to college. Gradually...
See, it happened for me when I got to high school, not anywhere else. Actually, it started happening to me when I got to middle school. My living situation changed drastically, and the people that were keeping me on task stopped being in my life. So, as soon as I was left to my own devices and got the big depressies, that's when the ADHD really shined.
I started slipping. I began skipping classes a bit when I just didn't feel like going, would wait until the last moment to start classwork, and lost a lot of motivation because I wasn't interested in any of my schoolwork. But overall, even though it was pretty
honestly, I was interested in my schoolwork a lot of the time, and I still couldn't get myself to do anything. I will say that I was about 14. I was in 9th grade-ish, and I went to the doctor for an unrelated reason, like it was like a physical or something, because I did sports. Hold on, I gotta burp. I went for like a checkup or something because I was in sports, and I was very nervous around authority at this point in my life, and I very tentatively asked the doctor, like, hey, I feel like I might have ADHD, and he was like, what are your grades? And I was like, A's and B's, and he was like, then you don't have ADHD, and that was it. He left. Like, that was it. And that was like super, obviously, that was super duper invalidating, right? For a long time, I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm just like making this up. That tends to happen more often to girls. But that happens to everybody, the grades thing. Just like, if you have good grades, then you can't have ADHD, and that's bull! Pucky!
A character for me, I chalked it all up to the fact I was simply over going to school. At the same time, my YouTube was really kicking off, and all I wanted to do was that. Of course, I wasn't gonna be as good of a student when the silly YouTube videos were doing numbers. I finished a single year of college and convinced my parents to let me take a gap year to see where this YouTube thing can take me. Spoiler alert, the gap year turned into me never going back. I'm a college dropout. So great!
That reminds me of when my 12th grade year, my final year of school, and I was at this kind of like bonfire with some girls from my cheer team who had graduated, and they asked me, they were like, Stella, what are you gonna do after you graduate? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a gap year. And they were like, you shouldn't do that. They were like, gap years tend to turn into forever, so don't do that. And I was like, no, that's not gonna happen to me. So I never went to college. I did apply to college. And I got into a university, and I was gonna go for psychology, but I did not end up going to college. And honestly, I think that was right for me. So you avoided $100,000 in debt. It really would have been $100,000 in debt too, because it would have been an out-of-state university.
I've eliminated the boring school part of my life that weighs me down. Now I can go back to being organized with my new exciting passion job.
And then it all falls apart.
Entails being my own boss and having to manage and assign myself all of my own responsibilities 24/7.
Oh, yup.
Quiet, the voice is not getting quieter. It's almost like everything was going backwards. I was having a much harder time staying organized and focused. If I didn't want to do a certain type of work, I would have to shackle myself down in basically an isolation chamber to be able to get it done. If I found a new interest, it was all I could think about. And why is it so easy to suddenly be on your roof watching a YouTube video on how to know when you need new shingles? I really didn't get it. Child me had it held together more than current me. What went wrong?
Because you had people holding it together for you.
How everything used to be so perfect and easy. Look at tiny Jaiden and all her ducks in that row. I used to color code every single binder I owned, and now I don't even know where I placed the 20 bucks I literally just had in my hand 3 minutes ago. I haven't even left the room. Genuinely, where could it f***ing go? Despite feeling like I was downward spiraling for multiple years, I never suspected it could be something related to a genetic neurodevelopmental disorder. I just thought I wasn't trying hard enough and being lazy, or applying myself like
I will say that a lot of symptoms of ADHD are also just burnout. And everybody gets burnout. If you're one of those people that's like, everything feels like ADHD and is telling me I have ADHD, but I don't have ADHD, maybe you're just burnt out. Or maybe you have autism.
used to. Oh, the woes of turning into an adult, I suppose. Maybe the best years of your life truly are in high school. How upsetting. I didn't even enjoy those either. But then one day I got a text from my brother. I got diagnosed with ADHD. It was a pretty big surprise for me because growing up, he never really seemed to show any of the typical symptoms you associate with ADHD. You know, people would always describe ADHD to me as super hyper kids who would run around the room and scream and generally be a lot. That wasn't my brother. He was quiet and well behaved like I was. But when he started explaining his symptoms, the gears started turning. Yeah, I've always struggled a lot with focusing in school and having things hold my attention when it's boring, but like,
Man, this is like unsurfacing so many things for me. I wasn't quiet. Like I was chatty. I definitely had H. Like I had the C. I had the comorbid ADHD, the inattention and the hyperactivity, but I wasn't hyperactive to the point of like, I guess being a concern for people. I was just constantly getting sent home with report cards or progress reports that said, she's a social butterfly and she talks too much. And then I would get in a lot of trouble. But I wasn't hyper. I mean, the signs weren't there, right?
I could hyperfixate on things I'm interested in and get really passionate about that stuff. Hearing him talk about his personal symptoms of ADHD made a lot of sense, and I felt very freshly educated on the topic. And you'd think that I would immediately start looking into getting a diagnosis for myself, because if you were paying attention, my brother's experiences all sounded very similar to the same struggles I've been having in my own life, but related to work instead of school, because I dropped out. But nope, I was just like, good for you, bro, happy for you. Or, I'm sorry, I don't know. Anyway, back to struggling to simply open up my drawing program as if 2 blocks of iron were welded to my wrists. Imbalance of brain chemicals? Nah, this just happens from time to time. It's normal.
I'm just lazy. Can't be anything wrong with me that's explainable. I'm just lazy. I just need to try harder. I have this superpower where I was both. I mean, obviously I was 14 and I was like, hey doc, I think I might have ADHD. And I was right. But also, I was really hard on myself and my inability to do things. I did both. I was like, I have ADHD. Also, if I just tried a little harder, the ADHD would go away, right?
Just the laziness kicking in. I hate Mondays, am I right? Even though I didn't instantly think there was a possibility of me also having ADHD, the mental seed was planted. It's genetic, so I knew subconsciously it ran in the bloodline. It took a few years after my brother was diagnosed for me to really sit down with myself and consider that I, too, could have ADHD.
This perspective just really fascinates me because I can't relate to that at all. I completely understand that that's like the more common scenario is this experience, but for me, I was so desperate to have answers. I was like, there's a reason that I'm like this. I know there is. I know it's not just me.
Shocking revelation, I know. Foreshadowing, where did you come from? Things in the focus and productivity department were just getting worse and worse. I had the attention span of a cartoon dog, would completely forget things as soon as they entered my head, would hyperfixate on random stuff like an addict.
Balls?
And there was
Balls?
entered my head, would hyperfixate on random
Balls mentioned? Balls? Balls in the chat. Balls in the chat. Hey, balls in the chat. Balls in the chat. Let's go. Why is my emo wall broken?
stuff like an addict, and there was constant civil war happening inside my head
Same.
to get one thing done, even though I knew it would only take like 15 minutes. You don't understand. It feels like physical torture to make myself sit down and lip sync a simple scene, like most of the time. You know, the thing I've been doing for 10 years at this point and am definitely used to doing. And yeah, once I've gotten going, then I'm honed in and you have to pry me away from it with a crowbar. I'm aware of that part. But nah, I'm still gonna scrap with myself to plant my ass in that chair because I don't even know why at this point. The biggest thing holding me back from feeling like
the ADHD brain really dislikes task switching, especially when it feels like work. I experience that really intensely. Like, I would love to go out and do things, but I need somebody to grab me and drag me out to go out and do things. I will not get myself up to go do things on my own, even though I really want to, because I'm also really into the thing that I'm already doing that's giving me dopamine.
I had ADHD has always been the simple memory of being in school and having my shit together. I know what it feels like to be on top of things and to be organized. I had it all in the palm of my little child hand. I just needed to summon it again with a bit more effort. But a light switch.
That's the hardest part that I've had to accept, was like, I used to be able to do all of these things. Why can't I do all of these things now? And there's a lot of answers. There's a lot of reasons for that. Not everyone has the same reasons, but most of it comes down to you had other people that were telling you what to do and that were structuring you for you, or you're burnt out. There's other reasons, like, you know, trauma and anxiety and other stuff can cause problems in that area too, but those are the most common ones right there. As for the overlap between ADHD and autism, there's a huge overlap. Honestly, a lot of the time, I feel like ADHD should just be on the autism spectrum, especially in my shoes where I'm like, do I have autism or is it just ADHD and CPTSD? Or maybe it's all three, who knows? I don't know, but to all my autistic bros out there, I see you.
Off in my brain, and suddenly I'm just not capable of the things I used to be, and it feels pathetic. Simple tasks are such a mental burden. It feels like I'm out of control but can't do anything about it. So finally, I figured I would try and get myself diagnosed. What did I have to lose? If anything, they just tell me, no, you don't have ADHD. Try a little harder and stop complaining.
Yeah!
And yes, of course it took me like 8 months after deciding to get diagnosed to schedule the actual appointment. What did you expect? That's like the first checkmark box on the ADHD list. I started seeing a psychologist and he would ask the typical, do you have a hard time focusing? And I'd go, yeah, like this one time yesterday, and then he writes something down as I continue rambling on this hyper-specific example way too long for a neurotypical person. I met with him for a few weeks and then it came down to diagnosis day. The nerves, man. I was so ready for him to say I'm a normal person who needs to suck it up. But instead, he was like, okay, so yeah, you definitely exhibit symptoms of someone with the inattentive type of ADHD. And autism. Yippee! My struggles are justified. I'm not crazy. Wait, what was that last part? He explained all the different ways ADHD affects me and the different areas I struggle with compared to others. He even gave me a 37-page document of his conclusions and information on how my brain works.
Can I get this psychiatrist, please?
I've read through it all a bunch of times now, and it's already really helped me understand how I tick. I call them the autism docs, but I'm not gonna get into that side of the diagnosis. Let's just brush that away for now.
Please,
there's a couple types of ADHD you can.
Jaiden, spill the beans. You can't just drop a 37-page document and just like dip. No, gimme.
Have hyperactive, inattentive, and combined. which is both hyperactive and inattentive. Hyperactive is the type people typically go to when they think of a loud kid who can't sit still. People with this kind normally need to fidget, have low patience, tend to talk a lot, and have trouble staying seated, especially when they're expected to, like in a meeting or school. Inattentive is the one where someone experiences difficulty in focus, memory, organization, has a low attention span. That's the one I have. It's self-explanatory, but if you have the combined type of ADHD,
you have both.
Then you got it all. ADHD jackpot.
You get the
right there, my
jackpot,
friend.
yeah.
I brought up during the appointments that I used to be such a good kid in school with seemingly zero ADHD symptoms, and how that part has always confused me. And he had a couple hypotheses about it. One, since my mom has always been a big source of my organizational influence, I was able to depend and lean on her for the majority of my school life for it. I felt like I was naturally capable of staying on top of things because she was right behind me the whole time, reminding me and guiding me through stuff. So when I moved out, everything started crumbling, which lines up pretty perfectly to when I did start struggling. Another explanation he gave was the fact that ADHD affects women differently than men, which is also less researched. Love to hear that one. Not only do women tend to be able to mask their symptoms better than guys, so it goes much more unnoticed, but they also experience...
It's true. It's true. Female socialization tends to turn out girls that are more better at masking. That was a very English sentence.
It's ADHD differently. And research says there's a chance it can just start affecting women later in life. I'm no ADHD scientist though. That's just what I've been told by specialists. I don't know.
I mean, maybe, but I think it's more likely women are just facing burnout more because they've been forced to mask all the time. And also maybe they just stop giving less of a frick about masking.
I've just got the dang thing. Either way, those two explanations make a lot of sense to me and have since put my weird ADHD imposter syndrome to rest. I didn't really think that getting a diagnosis would change much about how I go about my life, but since getting my ADHD certificate and lollipop, it's completely revolutionized how I think and go about getting things done. It's still hard to get my ass into gear when I need to do one normal thing that's not difficult, but I'm much less hard on myself and will strike almost like these kinds of mental deals to loophole myself into getting things done. Like, for example, if I really don't want to edit a video, I'll say to myself, okay, I know it's gonna be super hard for me to immediately start that task, so I'll get myself into the mindset of getting things done by doing a simple other task I don't find difficult, like cleaning my room. That way, I'll feel productive and can transition that into tackling the original task much easier. It doesn't always work, but it's the mindset change and overall understanding that sometimes I'm gonna have to go about things in different ways that's helped me a lot. Also,
something that helped me a lot was telling myself, okay, you only have to do this thing for 5 minutes. And then I do it for 5 minutes, and a lot of the time, I just keep going. But sometimes I can't keep going, and then I tell myself, okay, it's okay to be done for a little bit, and then I'll go back later and do 5 more minutes. If you have to have these mental battles with yourself instead of being able to just do things, perhaps you have ADHD.
So after being diagnosed with ADHD, I didn't have much desire to get medicated. I figured just knowing I have it would be enough to get things into gear, and I didn't really need medication that badly.
I really wish I could take ADHD medication. I really, really, really wish I could. Life would be so much better for me if I could think clearly.
The content creator in me also thought, well, if I'm gonna write a script about having ADHD, it would be nice to be able to talk about what it's like to be medicated, even just for a day. So I got prescribed good old classic instant release Adderall. Instant release means I don't have to take it every day. I can just take it when I need to get stuff done. It affects me immediately and then wears off after a few hours. There's also extended release, which is the kind you take every day and gives you a constant steady stream of medication. It wasn't until I had the Adderall in my hands when I realized the idea of taking it for the first time made me nervous. Like, what is this thing gonna do to me? I have so many friends with ADHD, honestly a higher ratio than friends without it. That's how it goes in content creation. All of these MFs have it. They were all
if you're looking around like, oh my god, like why does everyone around me have ADHD? Why is everyone neurodivergent? I don't know how to tell you this, but people tend to coalesce in like-minded groups. I don't have any diagnosis. All my personalities feel perfectly good. For me, I can't take ADHD meds because any sort of stimulant really messes with my heart and my other problems and my anxiety. The times where an ADHD med has worked for me were amazing. But then most of the time, it gives me anxiety, it makes me feel awful, and I'll feel good maybe for 5 minutes, and then I'll crash really hard and be really pissed off because I metabolize things really quickly too.
Telling me that it's awesome, how you'll take it and immediately feel like a god, and you can do anything and it's incredible. And yeah, that sounds great, but also like, what the hell? What do you mean I take this little pill and suddenly all of my problems seemingly disappear and I gain superpowers?
God,
That's
I wish
scary.
that were me.
That sounds like the thing every adult in a 20-mile radius warned us about when we were kids.
Not
Am I gonna feel
Sonic!
like a completely different person? I don't know if I'm ready to experience immortality. I put off taking Adderall for so long because I was irrationally scared of the tiny blue pill, but coincidentally, I really needed to get a script done. If I take too long to write a video script, then the team runs out of work to do, and then I have a bunch of people sitting around and waiting for me to give them more work so they can pay their bills and survive and stuff. But for the freaking life of me,
stressful.
I just could not get myself to sit down and write that script. My body and soul found it mentally easier to backflip off a bridge than write words on the computer. After literally 2 months of my brain going, ooh, you better write that script. I won't let you enjoy a single moment of your life if you aren't writing that script.
Yes! Yes! I feel so freaking seen right now!
Get up, go to the bridge. After that constant loop, I finally swallowed my fears and took my first Adderall.
I feel so seen! God, I wish I could freaking take Adderall! I wish I could take any sort of brain helping pill. Please! If you can take it! Take it in my stead, please! I wish I freaking could! I wish I could! This is why stuff takes me a million years. This is the large part of why stuff takes me a million years. Ah!
A lot about what Adderall is like since he's been on it for a few years now. And after I took one, I was messaging him like, I did it. I ate an Adderall. How long does it normally take to start? How do I know? What do I do? And he was helping me a lot and giving me tips. Then, like 20 minutes later, I felt it.
You can just focus. You
All
can just
the
do
non-stop
things.
thoughts going on in my brain went silent. I could think clearly and in like a line. My mind wasn't racing a mile a minute. I was able to sit behind my laptop and write. It was incredible. I was messaging all my friends about it the entire time. I can write my script and not get distracted. I don't have to take a mental break every 10 minutes. I can remember things. Kelsey sent me a message and I thought, I'll check that in a bit.
I feel
and I
so
remembered
validated.
to check in a bit. And respond. When I opened a new tab to look something up, I didn't go down a random unrelated rabbit hole. I picked up my phone to check something and didn't impulsively scroll Twitter for an hour. I can write words so easily. How am I doing this? What do you mean I can feel like this whenever I want if I just eat the tiny blue pill? I refuse to believe regular people can function like this on a day-to-day basis. No way. It wouldn't be fair. You guys don't have loud, non-stop voices in your heads preventing you from doing normal things. Come on, just admit it. You can't pick something up and immediately keep remembering what you were supposed to be doing with it.
This is so unfair!
And feel crazy. Come on. Come on. I was so suspicious that on Adderall, either nothing would happen and I just wouldn't feel anything, or I would feel like I'm a totally different person experiencing some higher-than-life manic episode. But no, I just felt like myself, but with my shit together. And that's the part I couldn't believe. After 2 months of war, I finally was able to plant myself down and write my damn script. You wanna know what script I wrote while experiencing Adderall for the first time? This one. I was struggling to write a script about ADHD, and the thing that finally pulled it out of me was Adderall. You gotta admit that's funny. Yeah,
it's a little funny.
Great. I didn't think my head was loud before, or I was that impulsive, or had that hard of a time focusing. But now that I've been able to peacefully sit in one spot for hours and not need to take a break, or check social media, or get distracted by some stupid tangent I don't actually care about, yeah, this changes things. I still can't believe what I was able to accomplish.
Another thing that happens frequently is people feeling like they're a zombie on ADHD meds, and you shouldn't feel like that. That is not... If you're taking a medication that is meant to help you feel like a normal person and you feel like a zombie, it's not working for you. Try a different one, please.
Writing a script in 3 hours. Compared to my typical 12 hours, aka one mediocre thing with no struggle at all. And you want to know what I did right after I wrote this script? I immediately got up and cleaned the bird's room without rotting in bed for 3 hours.
I'm so jealous!
I just went from one task to another without thinking about it.
Why can't that be me?
People must be thinking I'm literally pathetic and useless, but I know my ADHD brethren are out of their chairs right now hearing that.
Yes!
I'm not standing before you all to give you scientific data and information on ADHD, diagnose you, or even promote prescribed drugs. I'm just here to talk about a big and recent experience in my life, how much of an impact and effect it's had on me, and how awesome feeling normal is. Seriously, being able to take a deep breath in mental silence is incredible. Cherish that feeling if you don't have a neurodevelopmental disorder. It took me 26 years to realize my woes were not actually woes, but symptoms of brain chemical deficiency. I'm writing this video, all things considered, pretty recently after being diagnosed, and I'm still trying to learn how to rebuild my life in a way that lets me optimize my productivity and get things done at a normal level. But so far, I've come so much further than I thought I could simply by knowing what's going on up there in the old noodle. And Adderall. If you're on the fence about being diagnosed with something, I get it. It's scary. It's scary to think you might have it, and it's also scary to think you might not have it. It's an odd place to be. But for me, having a concrete answer from a professional is what got me to finally stop feeling stuck in place and actually start moving forward again. It's been great. I'm excited to keep learning more things about how my mind works and find new ways to improve my day-to-day life. Cheers to getting normal shit done.
In case you missed it, I have new merch. For a limited time, you can get...
If only that could be me. I'm so happy for her, but damn. It should have been me! It should have been me! Not her! I do intend to try an ADHD med again soon. Since my body is functioning very differently without birth control and my anxiety and everything is... My body chemistry is changing. Maybe it'll work this time. I don't know. I feel validated. Thank you to everybody that kept hounding me to react to that video. If you've got something you'd like to see me react to, please leave a... I was fiddling with my phone and I dropped it. Please leave a comment about it. Tell me on Twitch or tell me in my Discord. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Remember, it's never goodbye. It is always good later. Until next time, friends!
I don't know everything going on behind the scenes to make these streams and videos work, but I want you to know I am very proud of everything you're doing and how far you've come. You're a good bean. Also, frick you.
Yeah, there it is. Hey you! Hey you! If you're struggling, just know that I see you. And I think you're doing a great job too. Thanks for being here. Keep doing the hard thing, because I believe in you. Bye-bye.